Hey y'all, it's Black History Month, and we're shining the light on excellence, Black excellence in the cannabis industry. So today I'm hanging with the CEO of Best Dirty Lemonade, Omari. I'm hanging out with the executive chef of Eat the Herb, Chef Jadie, and the CEO of Cannabis Media Collective, CEO Mike. So let's get into it.
Cool. Now, before we get into it, okay, so let's get into it. Before you get into it, I wanted just to present you guys what I consider a labor of love, right? So here's a curated box of all 3 flavors of the Best Dirty Lemonade.
Yes.
I'm gonna take a sneak peek.
Cool, no worries.
Unboxing.
Ah, this is dope. Yes.
I love the new.
I like the colors, everything. This is fire.
Yes, and this is my favorite flavor for sure.
Glad you like. Well, see, this is y'all's personal stash, so share that with either keep it to yourself or share it with whoever you want.
Hide this.
I know.
So, do the BI like who gets these when you send these out? This looks expensive.
Yeah, I appreciate you knowing that. But party pack. These are what we're going to send to friends of the brand, right? People who have done so much to help push the brand forward. So this is why you guys are getting it. I appreciate all the times you posted us on Instagram, supported us. I consider both of you business partners, right? Because we do so much together. I just appreciate all you guys have done for the brand and pushing it forward. So this is just our little token of saying thank you. And let's keep pushing it forward.
Thank you. Everybody open the can. Cheers.
You're right. Man, I got hoochie those things.
I wonder how women do a lot of things with those nips.
No, when you put that card in the machine and can't pull
Girl,
it out.
that's the worst. And my heart be like, yes.
But I just let us
Oh,
laugh.
cheers.
Cheers.
Let's start lemonade.
All right, y'all. Well, let's get into it. So I'm going to start with Chef Jadie. Tell us about your business. Tell us your backstory. Who are you?
Sure. So I'm Chef Jadie Byrd. I am the executive chef and owner of Eat the Herb. Eat the Herb is a vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, health-based cannabis catering company. And I do a lot of other just, weird spiritual shit on the side. I got started back in 2018. I had just transitioned to a vegan diet. And the fear of missing out was so real. Like I needed to change my diet because I was having health issues, but I was like, blam. You know what I mean? Just all these things. So I just got really into it. I just was like just cooking a lot of different things, making things just taste really good because I just didn't want to feel like I was missing out. Until one night I realized that I didn't have access to any vegan edibles. And it was like, yeah, what the fuck am I going to do about this? It was a big deal to me. And so it was that night that I was with my best friend at the time and decided that I was going to make vegan edibles, but I'm like, they're vegan. People don't like vegan shit. It has a negative stigma, like keep the vegan shit away. So I'm just like, they have to be different and they have to be really, really good, right? So I started off making Jamaican patties as edibles, and for a long time that was the only thing that I sold. Them bitches went crazy. Okay. And so that's how we got started. That's how Eat the Herb got started. Very organic. I was in my mama's kitchen. She was cussing me out. Okay. Very organic, just humble beginnings with Eat the Herb. So
What year was that?
2018.
Okay, so I feel like, most people in the cannabis community in Atlanta know you for these Jamaican patties. And you have no Jamaican heritage, but your...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Your Jamaican patty
That's so
recipe
funny.
is on
I didn't know that. I just assumed
I
that you
appreciate
did.
that.
That's funny.
Yeah, I've offended a couple people over the years.
Why? Because it's so good and it's better than theirs?
I don't be saying it's better than theirs. I respect it, but I do a lot of different things. Like I'm tapping on I'm like the Drake of chefs. Like I'm tapping on all different cultures. Like
empanadas are smacking.
I appreciate that. So I'm the type of person to do like jollof rice and like Haitian pickles, and I'm making a dish like out of that.
I mean, you tapping into that, bro.
You were making the spring rolls fresh.
Oh
yeah, you were.
Mike hit me up after that,
Yeah,
and he
you
was
were.
like, "Hey, you got more beans and cornbread."
I was like, "That's simple."
There.
I didn't even get up there. I
Yo,
confused.
That beans and cornbread is my favorite.
I mean, the
The
list
whole
goes
case.
on.
I know.
The
I
way
knew-
people were surrounding you on stage
Yeah.
at Elevated Food and Wine, I'm like, I can't even get up there, and I'm not about to look crazy right now, trying to like bum rush everybody over here. Yeah, yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah. That definitely speaks to your work for sure.
Yeah, you have a gift for sure.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you.
So tell us about some of the events that you do now. Like, what does Eat the Herb do now? Where is it right now?
So right now, we have an event on February 15th. It's called Caked and Bake. It's an infused cake decorating workshop. I am a cake artist. So we're going to be decorating infused cakes. It's going to be a tutorial. We're going to smoke. Best Dirty Lemonade is sponsoring the cocktails for this event. So super excited. I also launched a cannabis church June of last year. It's called The Burning Bush. So we have Sunday service every second and fourth Sunday of the month. We are open to all religions and spiritual practices. What we do believe in is weed. We do smoke weed as a holy sacrament during service, and we practice omniism, we practice oneness, and we practice truth. So that's every second and fourth Sunday. And 420 is coming up, dining at Mary's. We got that rolling out. That is a brainchild of Eat the Herb and Best Dirty Lemonade, and you've been there before. He pulled up to it. It's always just a super dope vibe. So 420, we are hosting another dining at Mary's, which is going to be a 4-course infused dinner party. So that's what's on the books right now.
No. We also have to talk about the international trip we're about to take.
We do. So August 2025, we are co-hosting a cannabis retreat in Costa Rica.
Okay.
Super excited to get niggas together out the country to smoke this week.
Come on.
We're going to do a lot of other very beautiful things, but that in itself, like, fire. Pause. Like, let that be what it is. So August 2025, we are in Costa Rica for the Dining at Mary's Costa Rica retreat.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be like nothing you've ever experienced in your life. I can promise you that.
And we'll be able to commune with Black people in a Black-owned space.
Yes.
I mean, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I think so too. I really do. Like, I'm super excited about it. It's a Black-owned, like he was saying, bed and breakfast in Costa Rica. We're going to be in the mountains. We're going to have a beach day. We're going to do a lot of things. So I'm super excited.
Cool. And
All right, we're gonna move to Mike. Mike, tell us who you are, what your business is, and what you're doing right now.
Yes, thank you so much, Raya, Omari, for this opportunity. Chef Jadie. Appreciate just receiving these flowers and just acknowledgement and being in the space. That's a big deal. So I appreciate that. And so, yes, I'm the CEO of Cannabis Media Collective. We are an education platform that elevates plant wellness. And so what distinguishes us from other education platforms is we focus on master's and PhD level content when regards to the science of this plant. As the years went on, I realized that there were a few platforms that you could go to where you could hear from a doctor, an engineer, a business owner, a master of their craft, an expert in their field regarding this plant. There's a lot of different platforms that have a lot of great content, cannabis connoisseur, smoke shop culture type of content, which is great. But the consumers, the practitioners, the business owners, citizens all over the world need to be educated and updated on the science of this plant. And so that's what we do at Cannabis Media Collective.
Sure, I love that. I think it's really powerful, the three of you sitting here. And of course, we've heard Omari's story before. He was the CEO of Best Dirty Lemonade, which is why we're here. And so I think that the space that you guys hold is really powerful. I think that even the reason that we're doing this is to really highlight y'all and celebrate Black History Month. But I think that what y'all bring to not only like the cannabis space, but our community is this safe space to be, right? And to really like take back everything that was already ours. And so in that vein, I'm going to start with you, Omari. What's the most powerful thing about being a Black entrepreneur in cannabis?
Wow. I think having the ability to pivot, right? So us as Black people, we've always had to be so resilient.
Always.
Right? And I think for me particularly, trying to launch a brand without $2 million, right?
Come on.
Is you have to be able to be resilient. You have to be creative, right? And you really got to have an amount of belief in yourself that's almost unreal, right? And that's part of the Black experience anyway, right? Because we're here, you know, so many obstacles against us as a people, and still we thrive, right? And so, I mean, being a Black entrepreneur in cannabis, being a Black man in Atlanta, being a Black person on Earth, right? I think it's all the same. I think these themes tend to weave in and out of our lives and our experiences.
That's real.
That's great. That's great. Chef Jadie?
I have to repeat the question.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll be mindful to do that as we are in this.
So engaged.
That's okay.
Run that question back.
You're good. You're good. What's the most powerful thing about being a Black entrepreneur in the cannabis industry?
For me personally, it's the creativity. I feel like that's been at the forefront of like everything that I've done, and I see it in other Black entrepreneurs too. And when they say like Black people, like we set trends, we set the culture, we set the pace, and I'm just seeing like how us Black people in the U.S. We got sauce. We saucy now. Like we're real saucy people. We really have to give that to ourselves.
Okay.
I would say creativity. There's other things, but creativity has definitely like been at the forefront of.
For sure. I can't agree more. I think that I know, right, that nothing moves without Black creativity. And I think that that's very, very true in the cannabis space too. So I agree with that. Mike, what's the most powerful thing for you about being a Black entrepreneur in this space?
I'm going to echo what Omari and Chef Jadie said. But I think for me, on a deeper spiritual tip, I understand that we really stand on the shoulders of people who have done this before,
Come on.
right? And didn't have a shot at doing it
Come on.
the right way. And not saying the right way is the government's way, but the right way, meaning in a way where you can make a ton of money and take care of your family and not go to jail. And so when I think about us coming out of the cotton fields and the tobacco fields, and we had our own communities, there was somebody in that community doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Back then, right? Right before the Cannabis Stamp Act was put into effect in the 1930s, Mayor LaGuardia from New York did a study, one of the first cannabis studies done in the United States. And in that study, they determined that epicenter in the New York area
Was Harlem.
of cannabis production, business, etc., was Harlem.
Wow.
Right? So, and somebody mentioned that earlier when we were chatting, like, this was always our industry,
Yes.
right? White people focused on tobacco, they focused on alcohol, and they really didn't give this too much attention. So this was always ours.
We herb people.
You know what I'm saying? Right. We're
we
big
deal
black
with
people.
herbs.
Right. And so exactly. And so to know that 100 years later, we now have opportunity to make that right. You know, I think that's powerful too.
I think that is. And so you bringing this up takes us into another question, right? So if weed was fully legal when we were growing up, or when our parents were growing up, or when our grandparents were growing up, how do you think that would have changed the game for Black entrepreneurs?
Man, I think we'd be titans of the industry right now. There'd be way more Black billionaires for sure. Gary, yeah.
For sure. What do you think, Chef Jadie? No worries. All good. So if weed was legal back when we were growing up, or when our parents were growing up, or for however long, how do you think that would have changed the game for Black entrepreneurs?
I don't know. So if it was legal back then, it wouldn't be like this shock factor. It wouldn't be so wow like how it is now. You know, it just wouldn't have like kind of like this stigma that some people are attracted to for whatever reason in cannabis. I think because it's we've had to deal with it in a certain way for so long. Read the question again.
All good. No, you're good, because you're going somewhere. You're good. If weed had been legal when we were growing up,
Pluto.
okay. For real, if we would have been legal when we were growing up, how do you think that would have changed the game for the Black entrepreneurs?
Yeah, like Mike said, we would have had like more black billionaires. Just because the medicine is so complex. There's so many different things that can be done with it. We would have had just more time without all the stress to really like explore and delve into this plant and create the lifestyle that you really deserve to live, you know, with this plant.
For sure. And before I even get Omari's take on this, you brought up the stigma, right? And I think there's tons and tons of stigmas around weed and what that looks like and, you know, using it, all that. What's one stigma that you try to dismantle in your business?
I have excellent customer service because you're never going to say, I'm dealing with this, you know, ghetto black, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Ghetto black woman.
Like, you can never say that about me. Like, am I a ditz? Like, do I be high and goofy? Yeah, but I handle my business.
Okay.
I take myself seriously. Other people take me seriously. And I take my creativity very seriously.
Absolutely.
I enjoy it. I respect it. I have a lot of gratitude for it. It's like a meditative place for me, so...
For sure.
Talk to more of the respect. You said you have respect for it. What does that mean to have respect for the plant?
Man, it's like we have our endocannabinoid system, so it's just like it's intrinsically for us. We're created to be in harmony, like with this plant. What was the question?
What, like, how does the respect, you mentioned the respect that you have for it. What does that look like for you? And like, what does that mean to have respect for the plant?
Okay, so I view cannabis as medicine. I view it as plant medicine, like other medicines that we practice, like psychedelic mushrooms, all of those things. For me personally, I know other people, you know, they smoke and they'll receive downloads or they'll get information from, you know, wherever they're supposed to get information from. Like, it's really medicine. And this medicine is so just beautiful because it's medicine like that just tastes good. Like, it just makes you feel so good. It's not like the icky stuff, like, you know, you gotta and then you'll feel better. Like, cannabis is, she's the sweetest thing. Like, I'm just so in love with her. And so I feel like that's where the respect is. Like, how could you not respect it? What's not to respect? You know what I mean?
Right.
She can show you some things.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. The reverence you have for this, right, is kind of synonymous to the reverence I think that black women deserve.
Okay.
Interesting you said
like
that.
that.
It's interesting you said that.
They do call the plant Mary Jane.
I mean,
Right.
and she is a female plant.
Right. Because she's a million, probably.
Okay. From this earth. Anyway. So, Omari,
Yeah.
coming to you now. So if weed was illegal when we were younger, what would that look like for black entrepreneurs?
I don't know, right? I heard everybody had these really positive answers.
Honestly, I didn't know. That was a tough question for me to answer.
I feel like I know where you're about to go.
I appreciate you being
Yeah, I don't think it would have been good, right? I think because when you think about like music, for example, right, in our parents' era, in our grandparents' era, music was stolen, right? And I think cannabis businesses would have been stolen from us, right? I don't think we would have been given the lane during Jim Crow to thrive in cannabis businesses. We would have seen cannabis businesses burned to the ground, just like we saw Black Wall Street, right? Just like we saw any Ocoee, Florida, Rosewood, any of these other cities, right? However, I do think if cannabis was legal sooner, we would have gotten to a more harmonious society, right? Because I see cannabis as bringing people together.
I feel that answer.
Right?
I feel that.
And so, in bringing people together, like, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I smoked with a 75-year-old white Republican who lives in the middle of nowhere, right? And he pulled up on me talking about, you know, how do we change these laws for cannabis? And he pulled out some of the best weed that he's had, or that I've had. But it was amazing weed, nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
And so I think cannabis brings people together, and I think, you know, we wouldn't be as divisive if weed had been less stigmatized, to her point, and legal for a long time.
That's a real answer. That's a real answer.
I agree with that. And I think I agree with what you're saying. If it was legal going all the way back to Jim Crow, then yeah, it would have been tricky for us. But if it was legal like around end of the 60s, 70s, when the Reginald Lewises and the Titans of business were the black community were coming up, I think for sure we'd have had black manufacturing, black vertical integration period. You know what I'm saying? And I just think we'd be much further ahead. But I love your answer about just being a more harmonious society, because you're absolutely right, man. I was in LA a couple of weeks ago at one of my favorite dispensaries. Shout out to Artistry. They got a couple locations across LA, and I'm just in there, and I seen a white dude that, had I seen this dude on the street, I would have never thought that he's a big weed. Dude was in there going hard. You know what I'm saying? It's like that is a bond that brings so many people together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who might not agree on many things. But we can agree on this.
Absolutely.
You know? So, yeah, that's an excellent question.
Yeah, that was good. So, as black entrepreneurs in the cannabis space, what are some of your struggles that you deal with? I'm going to start with Omari.
Funding, banking, right? I mean, I think until the cannabis laws are amended to really recognize it as a viable industry federally in the United States, I think, we're going to struggle to find banking, a safe place to deposit your money without being, charged these usury fees. Also, investment, right? I want an SBA loan. You know what I'm saying? I could thrive with that, but that's not something that's available to cannabis entrepreneurs. So here we are trying to figure it out.
Chef Jadie, what's one of the struggles that you notice in the cannabis industry, and specifically being black in the cannabis industry?
Yeah, like where do I start with that?
Okay.
Living in the state of Georgia, period, is like it's a struggle. Like harp the slave music in the back, like that's how I feel. It's just yeah, it'd be a lot. And it wears on me sometimes. I feel like I get weary in this. I feel like this is really like a journey like we've committed ourselves to. Like we really said like, yes, let's say yes to this. Let's get through this. And I'm just like, okay, like we're really doing this. It feels like activism. It feels it feels like I'm listening to God, because sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? There's so much resistance, but there's also just so much reward, and I do know that it is worth it. But yeah.
Then what keeps you going? Because feeling weary is so real, and that's very vulnerable. So then what keeps you doing it every day?
A lot of different things, like clients hitting me back. Oh, wow, I haven't been able to sleep through the night in years. I had the best sleep of my life. You see what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I got my appetite back. I'm able to eat, and so I can feed you. It cleared up my eczema. Yeah. Like stuff like that. Yes. Like, it's medicine, and it's medicine that we need. And it is our sovereign right to be able to have a relationship with this plant. I mean, plant is what I meant to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I should be snapping after all your responses.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, it was so on point.
Yes.
I'm so like, I'm feeling the lemonade, like.
Good, yes.
Yeah.
But, I really appreciate what you said about, like, the activism, right? Because especially in a place like Georgia, right? I find this, look how much work we did last session, right? We sat in on these meetings for hours, right? And then we went back and strategized and tried to figure out what we could do to not only push the culture forward, but what we can do to keep our businesses thriving in this space, So I think activism is definitely something that, we're finding ourselves have to also do to just run a business in this space in Georgia.
Absolutely. And going back to your last question, let me get to your most recent question. But one of the most important things that I focus on in terms of breaking down stigma of this plant is, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, is just this whole stoner mythology, right? That if you smoke weed, you're not productive. You're not about your business. Particularly if you smell like weed.
Okay.
One thing I like to do, I like to make sure I smell like weed when I have my suit on and I'm looking game tight, looking like I want to do $1 million worth of business. Like, it's okay to smell like bud and to handle your business.
I admire that. I think that's something that I need to break. I absolutely admire that. I've heard you say something like that before too.
Like, we're at a time in society now where just like we have to deal with fucking Marlboro and fucking Newport.
Come on.
And just tolerate the smell of that shit, you're gonna have to start tolerating the smell of this shit.
Come on.
Period.
Omari, if your business had a theme song, what would it be and why?
It's a great question. The other day you asked the same question and my answer was Mo Better Blues.
That was a movie. I said if it was a movie.
Oh,
so this
okay,
is different.
Okay. So it is a different question. I was going to reference that to say today it is.
Which, by the way, he's never seen Mo Better Blues. I just want to put that out there to everybody. Which I have an issue with.
This is a hostile work environment.
Spike Lee. So we're going to watch that as a group. But go ahead.
Okay. But I think if my business had a theme song, what would it be? I have no idea. This is a great question.
You want me to come back?
No. Right? I think like off the riff, right? I would want it to be something upbeat, right? But classic, right? And given my heritage, I would probably say it would be "We Jammin' by Bob Marley," right? And the reason why I say that, because I think this is where we are, right? We're just now catching our stride, right? And then we're making lemonade, right? Which is to be shared, right? And so, like, I'm jamming and I want to jam with you, right? Like, I really appreciate, everybody who's taking this journey with us. And that's my high answer.
Yeah. Great answer. Chef Jadie, what would your theme song be? If your business had a theme song, what would it be?
So I was doing a delivery one night and I was on 75 going south. And the edible, like, it came up like...
I love that body feeling. I love that feeling.
I was like, ooh.
Okay.
And it was just like, I felt good. And then that song, Pusha Man, came on. I was like, I'm your mama, I'm your dad, I'm that nigga in the alley.
That's a great answer.
I was like, oh, this is That was
a great
me.
song.
It was a moment.
That's a great answer.
It is.
That's also a classic song.
It is.
Man, that's a
Yes.
good song.
Which is also in one of my other favorite Spike Lee movies. It's in Crooklyn.
Yeah.
And
Crooklyn
I feel
is
like
my favorite movie.
we are so connected on some other, like spiritually, that's one of my favorite movies. Like, it just sees me, but we'll talk about that. One of my favorites. So the way you just brought that up just gave me so much nostalgia. Like, and I love that feeling. And I feel like that's how I feel when I have a good edible too. You know what I mean? Like, to this higher place, like I'm tapped into my Black consciousness, which is also what Crooklyn does for me.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen that
was
Spike Lee
everything.
movie, though, just to be clear.
Thank you. Now I can continue to work here then.
For
Fine.
sure.
That's good.
That's where she draws the line.
Yes.
Huh? Okay.
Yes. All right, Mike. If
Man, that
CMC
was
had a
an
theme
excellent- that
song,
was an
that's hard to
excellent
come behind, right?
question.
That's hard to come behind.
I was waiting.
That's hard to come behind. All right, go ahead.
Oh, my God. What was that? Curtis Mayfield, right? Yeah, I don't think you come high.
With the cape on, what?
Come on, man. Bob Marley,
Okay.
Curtis Mayfield.
Okay.
When you saw me right, we followed up with Kendrick Lamar.
Oh.
I did not think
What
that's where you were
song?
going.
What song?
We gonna be all right.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Yes. That's so
You did
good.
that. That's a good answer.
That's so
That's a solid
good.
for sure.
Why?
It is.
Why?
Because when you think about it, that's the whole purpose and outcome of this plan.
Yes.
That's how we feel at our highest.
Yeah.
And when I say not high in terms of our faith, but in terms of our highest emotional level, we're at our peak, feeling great. It still contributes to our greatness.
Yes.
And where we're at our lowest, for me at least. And this is what we say in the men's group: speak for yourself, don't speak for everybody.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
For me, I had those moments where we were just talking about it. Son got an ear infection. This is happening. This bullshit happening. I missed this meeting. All kind of shit happening. But when I smoked some Pluto by Jesse Horton, shout out to Jesse, I feel like everything is gonna be okay.
Okay.
No matter what,
love that.
everything is gonna work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think on a shallow level, that's the case, and on a deeper spiritual, metaphysical, biological level, when you talk about the endocannabinoid system and how as I'm smoking this weed and I'm feeling okay, I'm also reducing inflammation and doing this to my gut and doing this to my immune system. Yeah, that's the thing, so for sure.
That's powerful. That's
Kendrick
good.
Lamar, all right. Was that track 6 on To Pimp a Butterfly?
Come on. Okay.
Might be track 7, but y'all get
I feel like we need to turn this into a playlist.
for sure.
We need to have like a I don't even know. It's deeper than a high playlist.
Yeah.
It's definitely deeper. That we would play at a holiday event, like if we came up with our own holiday event, which brings me to my next question.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with Chef Jadie for this one. If you could create a new cannabis holiday, what would it be and what would we do to celebrate?
That's an interesting question because I have a church and we do, rituals and we meditate, and so we've created a spiritual culture like around cannabis, and holidays are normally like things that are fueled by spiritual practices. So I don't know. I feel like I'm in it. Like my lifestyle is a cannabis holiday.
That's good.
Yeah, because we're always playing and stuff, and at the end, oh yeah, we can smoke.
Yeah. Yes.
Like it's
Yes.
always,
What a safe space.
Right.
Yeah.
What a safe space. I love that. Mike, if you could create a holiday, a new cannabis holiday.
You know what? I would do. I'm gonna flip it. It would be. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but every Monday I do No Smoke Monday, which is I'm promoting tolerance breaks. Right.
I need to hop on that.
Me too.
I
We were
can
just talking
actually
about
appreciate
tolerance.
that.
Designate one day out of the year, and this is for all our tried and true morning, noon, night
For
smokers.
sure.
Okay, to not smoke, and we could call it Lemonade Day, because on those days that I don't smoke, I most certainly.
So you consume, you just don't smoke.
Correct.
Okay.
And some days I don't consume. I mean, some Mondays, but I don't smoke regardless.
Okay.
Right, and I just try to break down my routine.
And so, is the idea here that you start the work week, on like a clear level, or and that even clear gives a bad connotation that you can't be clear and high, right?
Right.
True. However, I think it's, for me, I'm not going to speak for everybody else, but there is a different type of clarity, right? There's a clarity that you can achieve when you're being intentional about smoking your weed and achieving a certain mindset shift. But I've gone on tolerance breaks for 30 days or more, and I've had a different type of clarity, right? And still felt amazing. But yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that. But what was the question again?
It was if you could create a cannabis
Oh,
holiday.
we're going back to. Oh no, you were talking about Monday. You were asking me about Monday.
In the clear.
Right. I'm with you. I'm get this fucking. I'm getting started.
It is empty.
What was the question?
It is. I will say it is empty. It is empty.
I already knew what I was on.
Hello.
It is empty.
Right, I'm like, I'm trying to land the plane, but what plane am I on? What plane am I on again? Where are we going? Back to what you were saying, asking. For me, it's a discipline thing, right? Shout out to Dr. Uma, one of my mentors, Titan in the game. Shout out to Shivaji. Shivaji's Dr. Uma's son. He introduced me to rolling spliffs. And I was on a deep Wiz Khalifa, papers only. You tobacco smokers are fucking nonsense. Get out of here.
Right.
And fucking with Shivaji, he hopped in my car, rolled some shit up, and I've been smoking spliffs ever since. And so for me, I know I'm also addicted to the nicotine in the tobacco, right? Which a lot of people don't realize they are who smoke blunts, right? And so for me, being that I'm living a lifestyle where I'm not in an office from 9 to 5, I might smoke in the morning, I might smoke in the afternoon, I'm definitely smoking in the evening. And it's a disciplined exercise for me, right? It's making sure I'm in the driver's seat and making sure I'm controlling my consumption and my consumption is not controlling me.
That's good.
I know for the last couple of years you've done that 30 days, either leading up to 420 or following 420. I just want to get this on camera to say
Oh shit! Here we
that
go.
I am going to do 30 days leading up to 420.
Let's do it together because I actually decided I'm gonna do it before as well. I'm gonna do it before.
I'm in.
And it's a
Well,
process.
I brought this up the other day and said that you did, and we had a conversation about. I'm in.
It's amazing.
I'm for sure.
Hold on,
It's
is the
amazing.
notebook ready?
It is, yeah.
So you have a notebook that we can follow along and
Sure, absolutely.
document this?
The 30-day tolerance break,
I'm in.
for sure. Absolutely. How to conquer.
And no pressure. We're not pressuring
I don't
you to
see
do
no
this.
pressure.
I can see
I don't feel no pressure.
So are you just not going to smoke, or you're not going to drink lemonade either?
No, I'm not going to consume at all. I'm going to clean my CB1 receptors,
Yeah,
CB2
for sure.
receptors.
It's
and
an amazing experience, man, especially for people like us who consume on a consistent basis.
It sounds amazing.
You can't overdose on these cannabinoids, but
Right.
you can overload your endocannabinoid system.
Overloaded, that's
Right. And so what I do, the short version is, for especially for your people who are smoking throughout the day, I slowly just titrate down, which means reduce my consumption over time. So right now, my son had an ear infection and had me up all damn night, so I ended up smoking early in the damn morning today. But regularly, I'll skip my morning session, right, for like a week. I won't smoke in the morning, right? And then that afternoon fade feels amazing. Like, oh my God, I'm feeling like I'm fucking Superman, right? Yeah. Then the next week, I'll eliminate the afternoon session, and I'll only smoke at night. And that night fade is like, oh my God, like you start going back to like, this is how it feels to be really strong.
Yes. Yes.
You start getting back into that zone, like, oh, I'm too high, right? And then slowly but surely, I eliminate that nighttime session. Now you just go, you start your first day. And it's really the first couple of days that are where you feel like you, especially if you have tobacco in the mix. But the other half of the process is as you eliminate the times that you're consuming, you got to fill that with something, right? You can't take something away. You can't take something away and not replace it with something, right? So y'all are all busy business people, so that's easy. But you have to fill that gap where you would have been smoking and drinking your tea. You got to be doing something else.
That's good.
Right, and take your mind out of it. But it's possible. It's doable. It feels great. And everybody has their own experience in terms of different side effects. And I feel like I had way more energy. Like my energy went through the roof. I was like, man, like I'm smoking, like I literally felt like I was smoking way too much.
Okay.
Like, I felt energetic. And then also psychologically just dealing with life.
Yeah.
Like my homie says, just raw dogging life.
Yeah.
Like dealing with life's ups and downs without the plant is different.
Talk about that.
It's different. I think it builds resilience because we get built into. Everybody who is a consistent smoker has a routine.
For sure.
The fact is that routine is either helping you or it's hurting you in various ways, right? In terms of your appetite. What are you eating?
Yeah.
Are you eating nutritious food? Your sleep. How are you sleeping? Two of the most important things you could do in the course of the day. What you consume in your rest. And so the 30-day tolerance break, it brings a shock to that routine and forces you to find other ways to be healthy, right? And stay busy. And it's just refreshing to the mind just to have a reset, and to know that you're in the driver's seat and to have discipline.
For sure.
And you talk about entrepreneurship. Outside of, you can be as passionate as you fucking want to be. But you have all the fucking passion. But if you're not disciplined about this shit, about whatever the fuck it is you're doing, you're not going to get that shit done.
I think that's powerful. You mentioned filling that space, like filling that smoke time or whatever that is with something else. And so I think I'm going to commit, I'm going to commit to using both of your practices, right? I am definitely going to do this 30-day tolerance break. Yeah. But I also use recreationally, but I also use medicinally too, right?
Right, for sure.
And feel like I really rely on it as you're talking about it right now.
Right.
But I need to bring some other practices in, right? Like I want to, and I'm going to attend your services and rituals too. I need to really get back into meditation. I think that's really powerful. The mix of the two is very powerful, but especially when I'm on this tolerance break, like, yeah, I think what both of you are saying is really cool and really powerful. So I'm looking forward to this 30 days and like really diving in.
Years ago when I started this, it was something that I just did on my own and just kind of made some content. I didn't really take it seriously or think anybody else would. And it was kind of like a recommendation. Like, I think this is something people should do. I'm at a point now where, especially for people who like me, you're in your 40s, you've been smoking good weed since your 20s, decades plus. Like, this is something you have to do.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I got into it. I just woke up one day, I'm doing therapy and teaching all these people about responsible consumption and being intentional and all this shit. And I'm like, when's the last time I stopped smoking weed for a substantial period of time? Like, I don't even know what that feels like. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what that feels like to have not smoked for a week,
Yeah.
2 weeks. Like, I've been all over the world, and everywhere I have found weed.
Yeah.
Like, you know what
real.
I'm saying?
That's real.
With the exception of China. I didn't find any weed in China.
Okay.
That
I was
tricky.
just gonna say I ain't smoked no weed.
Yeah,
in
I
Japan.
didn't smoke no weed in China. That was tricky. But my homies plugged in Japan. I feel like I can get some in Tokyo for sure.
Yeah, I think now, but when I was there in 2011, no boy, they was throwing people under the jail, and I was already big and black in Japan, standing out.
Sure.
Right.
For
And
sure.
going back to what Jadie was saying, respect to this plant.
Yeah.
The tolerance break also, it puts a whole nother perspective on what this plant is doing for you. Because I'm an athlete. I'm playing soccer. I'm riding my bike. I'm walking. I'm hiking. I'm doing all this shit. I will say, when I stop smoking, I'm feeling all these fucking aches and pains. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm realizing, like, oh, this shit is helping with this inflammation and this little chronic pain I'm dealing with. So to your point, it is tricky. People who are using it for medicinal value, and I think the plant is medicine regardless. I tell all the time, it's medicine and people are using it recreationally.
For sure.
Right, but for people that are using it to deal with serious medical conditions, that's different. But even so, if we're being honest, for most people who have serious medical conditions, outside of maybe some GI issues, smoking is not the most effective way to deal with certain conditions. But that's another conversation.
I love that. That's great.
I think you shoved the bomb on us, and then you backed away from it.
Oh, about smoking not being the most effective?
Yeah.
Well, it's not, because if you think about it, it's effective. It may not be the most effective tool for a particular medical challenge, right? So for somebody who is dealing with GI issues, it's great, because once the smoke hits your lungs, it's in your system, that shit is working.
Right.
Fast onset.
Onset is immediate, right? So for people who have a lot of GI problems, that's great for them, right? But for somebody with chronic pain, it might come on fast, but it might not last that long. You know what I'm saying? I got a paraplegic client, like he needs cold water hash, right? He smokes a lot to deal with his GI shit, but for the chronic pain, he wants some cold water hash. He wants he wants to dab. He wants like
Super high concentration.
he wants to be fucking stoned.
Yeah.
And so the reality is, smoking is great for the mindset shift. It comes on quick. It probably doesn't last forever. So you can go into that meditative state. You can be intentional. You can shift your mind to where it needs to go for you to accomplish your goal. And then it wears off. So that's the reality. It's not the best route of administration for everything.
That's good. While we're talking about consumption, what's your favorite ways to consume? Omari, what's your favorite way to consume?
I'm biased, right? Like, even if it wasn't my favorite, because it is, I'm always going to say lemonade.
Right.
Right?
For sure.
But I'll throw Chef Jade's food in there, too. Cause,
Okay.
she makes some good food.
For sure.
Kudos to her.
I done left fucking Dining at Mary's fucking for the euphoria. I left out of there.
Come on, Euphoria.
I felt like I microdosed some MDMA or some shit.
Oh, wow.
Just that smack.
For sure.
He was making smoothies that night too, though.
Oh.
Did you have a smoothie?
I did.
Okay. People called me about the
Man,
smoothie.
Forgot about that.
People called me about the smoothie the next day.
Do you remember when we drank this
still
smoothie
tasting
at when we were at
Elevated Food and Wine?
Yes.
I felt like you were the only person who could understand what I
Oh,
was
no.
going through. Do you remember that night?
I do. You said it's
Oh, it's just gonna get
He said it's off me. It's off me.
It would not get off of me. I'm trying to be cool. Mike's like, go outside for a little bit.
It's funny because
he was the only person who could understand where I was at.
Because you dipped, and then like 30 minutes later, I was feeling like that. I was like, oh, shit.
It was like this roller coaster.
Like,
and I felt like every time I was at the top, Mike would be like, you good, I feel you. And everybody else was chilling.
And then I was pissed because then I'm going through my shit and she gone.
Yeah.
I'm just dealing with this shit on my own, on this balcony, just trying to figure this shit out. People looking at me. I'm looking at them like,
I'm wondering if we're normal. I'm trying to whisper like this.
Oh, shit.
Look.
Yo.
I mean, we was in and it would not let us go.
Oh, my God.
Wouldn't let us go. Omari's over there like, it's fine. You're almost through it. It's been long.
Yo.
That thing would not let me go. It would not let me go.
And it's like as soon as you come out of that fucking, off that peak into the valley, you hit the weed. Yes. And it's like, whoa.
It just would not. We just kept going
Here
up
we
and
go.
down.
Oh man.
Oh, God.
We just kept going up and down.
Yes.
Yeah, we just kept going up and down. Yes.
Oh, my God.
All right. So I have to admit, y'all, in 2025 I made like a bingo board. One of the things is to learn how to roll a blunt because I cannot roll. I'm a habitual cone stuffer. Or I'm a glass girl. Gotcha. I love a good glass. Like sit out in the grass, no shoes on, stuff like that. Right? But I really want to learn how to roll. Like I feel like that will take me. I feel like I will be cooler as a person if I can learn how to roll. Yeah. But I'm assuming that the three of you can. Oh, for sure. And I'm assuming that the three of you have rolled for each other and who rolls the best?
Oh, hands down, it has to be Mike.
Oh, okay, I'll take that.
And this is not a shade to Jade.
I'll give that to Mike. Okay.
I'll take that.
I just need everybody to be quiet.
Oh shit.
Okay.
We listen, we don't judge.
Okay. Oh, is that what we do? Do we really like?
We don't.
Okay, because we judge all the time. We be judging. Y'all said y'all was.
But we're gonna be cool about it.
Okay, but let's talk about it. Okay, because let's talk about it. Before I say what I'm about to say. I feel like people's hands are made for different things. Ooh. Okay, so when I was younger, my mom was really into crocheting. I remember when I was like younger, like that just was not my shit. Like it didn't feel natural on my hands. Like I just didn't enjoy it. And I could tell when she did it, she enjoyed it. I feel like I never had the hands for it. Or maybe like I didn't have the dexterity for it. Okay. I think it's the dexterity and I was becoming frustrated. So with that being said, I don't roll. Oh, yes. I have what? Because we
this isn't really a secret.
It's no
okay.
Everybody has their thing.
But people judge me so harshly about it. I cannot roll. I always have somebody around me who could roll up for me. I'm very spoiled. I'm not gonna lie. It's always somebody around me who could take care of it for me. They don't even ask why I'm asking. But it's normally my sister. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yes. It is a codependent relationship. I'm fully in it. I'm fully invested. It works for me. Outside of that, I have a pipe collection. I have a pipe from every country that I've ever traveled to in my life.
Yes.
I got the little raw thingy.
Me too.
I don't like how they smoke though.
Right. It's
like
weird.
Straight,
yes. And it's too
like
perfect.
That.
It doesn't flow well. Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's just like I'm gonna get mine. So don't be worried about it.
I love that. Thank you for that.
Can we just?
Yes.
We listen and we don't judge.
Yes.
Moment. Okay.
I appreciate that.
Somebody out there is like, damn, that bitch lame as fuck.
No, we together because I'm scratching that shit right off my bingo card.
I literally, y'all.
I'm
this
really happy
what
about
it is.
that, actually.
And Jessica has. I attended her blunt rolling class. She's one of them black mamas like back in the day. Well, if Johnny had 2 apples, it was like that. And I knew in that moment that I was just like, I just can't do it. Because you're frustrated it's just something I can't do. I do not have the dexterity to do that. Like,
I wish I'd have known you to roll. I would have been giving you pre-rolls. The way your food tastes.
I appreciate it. But the thing is, you can give them to me, but I'm always, I have it in abundance. I'm never without. You know what I mean? Like, I can always roll it. Smoke it. I put my cannabis shea butter. I'm infused my goddamn self.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's all up in me. So
not your edible.
I prefer to roll. Me personally, I have a bong. I have pipes.
I mean, there's clearly an art to it. I've been watching you.
Yeah, I just
I'm like,
prefer to
ew.
roll.
I admire it.
Stuff
It is. It's some magic.
It's a skill, and they won't admit that. Some people just don't have the fucking skill.
It is.
Yeah, you
There's an art form to it. And then I'd be a little bit embarrassed, but I'm not. I'm taking all that back.
I'm taking it back too.
Yes.
From this
I'm not rolling
moment,
with shit.
I told my truth.
If it's something you want to learn to like, learn how to do it, and if you take a liking to it, it doesn't. It's just like
I don't. I just want it to be cool. I just wanted to be like, hey. I didn't want to be othered.
Right.
But we are always othered. Why am I so fucking weird about that?
I'm a weird ass. I've always been
and
other.
the
I'm so
reality
cool with being weird.
It's one of those emergency skills. You don't want to find yourself somewhere and there's no glass, there's no this, there's no edible, there's no tincture.
That's true.
No,
but the thing about me is,
have bud and some paper.
I can roll up.
Yes.
But it's like, okay, let me get my mind right.
Yeah.
I'm about to like.
It's a task.
It's not
You know
going to
what
be
I'm
great.
saying? Like,
It's not going to be great.
I gotta really
gotta
sit down.
get to
I
it.
like exact precision. I get knives. I'm cutting. Okay, I'm going to lit right here, measure, like make sure it's even, stuff like. And I don't enjoy the process.
Yeah, I don't enjoy the process.
I don't like it.
And
but I could get it done though. Like worst case
if I had
scenario,
to
like
do
in
it,
that situation,
if I
like
had
I'm
to do
smoking.
it.
I can.
I mean, I'll go so far as like I'll get an apple and make a bone if I have to.
Yeah,
like I'll do all that
before trying to roll.
Yes,
a toilet paper roll.
for sure. I would easily just find something else.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know why, but that's just.
It's a process.
And I like to smoke like that anyway. I prefer if I could carry my bone around.
It's that intertribal.
That gotta be what it is. That's gotta be what it is because I would carry that thing around all the time. Yeah, I love that. Okay, all right, Mike. Well, you the best roller. You're the best roller.
I'll take that.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So, if you had to pitch cannabis to someone who's never smoked before, like at all, never consumed, how would you pitch it?
Now, do they have to? Is this pitching them smoking or just consuming? Period.
Whatever you
Pull up
think.
to dining at Mary's. That's what I say.
What would they get from it? What would they get from that?
The best sex of their life. Like at one time, you weren't really for sex, right? You didn't have sex, and then you started having sex. It was great.
I was wondering where we were going.
Hey, listen, this is the second time we listen.
Where are we?
This is the second time we've done this interview. A lot of Amari's answers, boy.
Like,
So I'm like, let me wait and see where we going.
He's gonna land this one.
Oh, he been landing them.
No, he's right. No,
And then he got quiet too. I was like,
no, but on a serious note, I would say,
Oh, I think he was serious.
yeah,
I think he was very serious.
For sure.
No, it's not a joke.
yeah, and so, I mean, this is something that is my lane, right? And I work a lot with cannabis naive people, from pediatric age to the actively aging. I met an investor, badass.
What does actively aging mean?
That's a better word for elderly or geriatric.
Gotcha.
Because I use the word elderly because I developed this product for the pediatric community, and I mentioned I'm working on something for the elderly community.
Okay.
She was like, "No, baby, don't use that word.
Okay.
It's actively aging."
Okay.
oh my
Okay.
boy.
And mind you, she was like 80 years old, but she looked like she's 61.
The names be changing, okay?
They do.
I
They
think
do.
with the names, it's
They do. They do.
But what I tell people is, and you said it earlier, this is medicine.
Yeah.
Like, this is medicine.
Yeah.
Right? And so let's understand that first. But for the first time, cannabis naive person, I would also say there are a lot of different ways to experience this plant. You don't have to just smoke. You could come to Chef Jadie's dinner and have, oh my God, them hot cakes. What was it? The peas made with that?
Mm-hmm.
You're reliving it right
I'm
now.
still tasting
I could see.
Like, I was so stoned. I had so many of those. But yeah, there's so many different ways. So many routes of administration: edibles, topicals, tinctures, shea butters, bath bombs. There's so many different ways to experience this plant, and for some people, they may not be into it, but I say it's an option for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a medicine that for the most part is safe, that you can try at small and large doses, and you're not gonna have a tremendously adverse reaction.
That's cool.
Maybe experience. You're in the wrong setting, but
Well, it's the intention, right? You got to set your intentions and be mindful about
absolutely
how you're consuming, how you're using.
But this is one of those substances that we can use, we can play around with
Sure.
relatively safely.
For sure. I love
That's
that.
what I would say.
You were speaking to the experience that people would have when they first go to dining at Mary's. Can you continue that? What were you saying? Because I had asked, Mike said, like, I would tell them, go to Dining at Mary's, right? And so you were saying, like, yeah, and I asked, like, what about the experience? What do you get from that when you first go?
Ooh, I think the experience is going to be different for everyone every time, right? Because we've had a number of Dining at Mary's and the menu's never been the same, right? The vibe has never been the same. It's very much communal in that we're all eating together, we're all being presented the food at the same time. So it's different than like a restaurant where like these tables are separate. Also, I think Chef Jadie does a great job of cooking with intention, right? And cooking with love. I know this is not even what you're asking me, but all I keep thinking about is these lemon pound cakes she made. I don't know what episode that was on your TV show.
I think it was like episode 6.
Okay, so episode 6, she made some lemon pound cake. I just happened to be there to watch the episode, featured on the episode, and I ate that, and I killed that. And it was like a personal dining with Mary, though, right?
And I made the pound cake with your lemonade.
Absolutely, that's how it was infused, right? And I just remember a spiritual connection. And I don't often talk about like spirituality or God with cannabis, right? I grew up in some religion and I have this trauma that I think it's separate. But I remember leaving there and feeling amazing and just talking to God as I maneuvered about my day, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the Dining with Mary's experience will always be different.
I saw, and I wasn't there, but there was a Dining at Mary's experience in Florida last year. And I saw the video. Obviously, I was working with Cornell, and then we were posting the video, and I was watching it. And there's like sometimes there's like a disconnect when you're watching a video, and like you're not there, so you're not in the energy, you don't feel it. But then but you can imagine what people feel. I felt the energy in this room when you were talking about your food and you were talking about what led you to do the menu for that day. I believe it happened to be around Juneteenth. Yep. And the intentionality behind it. I mean, I'm locked into this thing, right? And I'm really working because we needed to post it and it was a great event. I heard all about it. But the intention there was this like maybe 35 seconds of you just speaking to it. And you were tapped in. I was watching you, and I'm like, oh, she's
crazy.
What? I'm like, these ancestors are speaking to her right now. She's tapped in, and I thought the intentionality behind that, and I'm sure that's why. I mean, your skill and your art is why it tastes so good. But there is something like, I mean, through this video from hundreds of miles away, I felt that thing. Yeah. I felt that, and clearly it sticks in my head because as Omari is talking, that's all I could think about. That's all I could think about.
And to answer his question, when he said, "What are you gonna get there?" You're gonna find love there.
Oh, what do you mean?
You can taste the soul and the intention this woman puts into her food.
Oh, thank you for that.
No, real talk. Like,
Speak more to it.
You can taste it. There are some chefs that can cook food.
Yeah.
And there are some chefs that can give you like memories, right? And so that's what her food does in terms of just the energy. And the flavor profile, period. Not to mention, we're all coming together. We mentioned this earlier. We're all coming together on one accord because we all love this plant and what it does for us individually. So it's like we're all part of this collective, knowingly and unknowingly, and always meet new people there. Always fellowship with people that I know I consider family, and it's just an eye.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with life, and when life is kicking your ass,
okay,
people look forward to them events.
Safe space just to
Communities, right? Like people really fill their cup up, and I'm speaking of other people, but I fill my cup up, when I'm in those spaces.
Oh, now I be taking y'all to church. Y'all ain't even been to my church. Y'all gotta come out to my church. I appreciate you.
I always had that relationship because I didn't really start smoking consistently till college. But I had that moment. I used to be in my dorm room Sunday, blowing, listening to Blessed Assurance.
Vibes.
Just vibing the fuck out. And people were confused, like, you smoking weed? You listening to the gospel music?
That's exactly what
And I couldn't articulate it then. But it is without a shadow of a doubt a spiritual connection between this plant and what it does for us. And so it's is really love in the room, in the food, in the experience. And what I love is I see people in there who don't smoke, but they're having the same experience we describing, but they're not smokers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Shout out to the aunties.
yeah, you don't gotta be a smoker or know how to roll weed. To
Nah,
to
to be
this
from
place.
I love that.
that she sharp too.
For sure.
I love that.
Real quick,
Yep.
we have 70 minutes. I got 17 minutes left on this call.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop for a second. Let me get to, what do we want to get to?
What time was it?
2:30. On the dot. Look at me. Okay. We got 17 minutes. All right.
3 questions.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because some of these are gonna take y'all down somewhere else, but I don't want to, and I don't want to cut it when it's.
Do we have another card?
We do. I just ain't know where we at.
Okay. And you know what? Mike gotta go soon anyway. Mike has to go soon anyway, so we got.
over an hour. We did more than we did the other day, which is cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's basically like, nigga, this 17 minutes is gonna be straight.
Okay, so go ahead and give me these 17 minutes. All right. You ready? Go ahead.
Yeah, if we have to go over there, that's cool. Man.
No worries. I'm sorry with this. All right. So, if there was any black figure in history, dead or alive, that you could smoke with, who would it be and why?
That's a hell of a question right there.
Who would it be? It could be anybody. I asked this question the other day, and I asked Omari, and I'm asking you again, so you have to change your answer.
Damn. Dead or alive? That's heavy.
You know, you asked me the other day, and my answer was Barack Obama, right? And I just think that would have been so cool, yada yada, right? But I think my answer today, since it's not Barack Obama, naturally it's Jay-Z, right? Because I feel like I have the best conversations with people when I'm high. Pick their brain. My questions are coming off the top, right? I think otherwise, you know, Hov is like the coolest nigga that I could imagine, right? So I probably might not say anything for wanting to be in my head. I might be like, let me leave this nigga alone. If I was high smoking with him, I'm asking this nigga all the questions. You remember when they were like, would you take $5 million or a dinner with Jay-Z? I'm always taking a dinner with Jay-Z, right? I think I can figure out $5 million.
You'd have been mad as hell. That nigga would have been rude as shit.
But not if we're smoking.
Oh, okay. Good point.
Right? I think smoking breaks that barrier, and if somebody's smoking with you, they fucking with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you're not smoking with some weirdos. You're like, nah, I don't fuck with this thing. So, yeah, I think my answer would have been Hov.
What do you think you would have got from that? Because you turned it down $5 million. What are you getting from this?
You know, I think connections, I think the right connections can get you into any room, right? And so I don't think money keeps you in rooms. I think connections do. And so I think having a Hov connection, you know, as weird as this answer now has morphed to, I think that would have been
No, I get what you're saying. That smoke session is going to build a bond.
For
You're
sure.
You're going to be locked in with Hov after that.
Maybe not, right? But you may soak up some game, right? And we will get some pictures that we will post all over the place, right? And so somebody gonna get finessed.
Pin it out thing at the top for sure.
We will record this
It's
dinner.
our- what?
Oh, we recording this,
It's
right?
our profile picture on
No,
here,
we
okay?
recording this dinner, right?
Sure.
All this content. Nigga, matter of fact,
sure. He's
there
drinking
you go.
lemonade.
You fucking run up 10 mil off the content.
Easily.
Fuck
Easily.
the 5 mil, let's do dinner.
For
Right.
sure.
Right,
For
drink
sure.
this lemonade, man. Sample all 3 of these motherfuckers. Hov.
For sure.
Drink the best dirty lemonade drink champs dinner, man.
For sure. All right. Chef Jadie, who are you smoking with?
I'm still thinking.
Okay.
I'm really still thinking. That's a tough question.
Okay. I'll come back to you. I'm going to come back. Mike, who you got?
Yeah, it's heavy too, right? Because I'm like so many people, man. But one of my idols, man, I have to say, I gotta smoke one with Marcus Garvey.
Great answer. Why?
Because
That's a great answer.
from my perspective, Marcus Garvey was really the father of black entrepreneurship in this country. and he's known for the Back to Africa movement, but historians reduce his legacy to that because his real legacy was no. We need black manufacturing. We need black vertical integration through all sectors of industry.
And let's do that back in Africa.
No, it was let's do that here.
Really?
Absolutely. His whole philosophy was let's do that here. And if these white people burn all our shit down, then let's go to Africa.
Okay.
Right. And so that's a very, a lot of people don't know that. And for Marcus Garvey, you have Malcolm X. Right. So I really wanted to say Malcolm, but really Malcolm is what they call a Garveyite.
For sure.
Malcolm came from Garvey. So yeah, I love Marcus Garvey and just everything he stood for. And I can imagine if this shit was, if he had his way when this shit was legal, he'd have for sure been a billionaire off of this shit.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah. That's good.
So it was, who do you want to smoke with?
You could pick any.
Black figure. Dead or alive.
Okay. I'm going to tap in. I'm going to go the astrological route. So people who I know who have like the same birthday as me. So Huey Newton and Michael Jordan.
Wow.
No matter how you feel about Michael, I was still one.
When's your birthday?
I want to
February 17th.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And see if I can, tap into that Aquariusness, see if there's any similarities there and like personality, just kind of like see what they're on. That's who I want to smoke with.
Sure.
I just knew the other day that Jessica was going to say Harriet Tubman.
Like,
Did she say it?
No,
No,
she didn't
she
say
didn't.
Harriet
What'd she
Tubman.
say?
I don't remember.
She said, I don't remember if she picked anybody. Did she pick anybody?
Did she pick anybody?
Who did she pick? I can't remember who she picked.
We'll insert
We'll
it.
come back. Yeah. Break it. I can't remember who she picked. But you asked who I picked. I picked either Eartha Kitt or Dorothy Dandridge.
You gotta give us a new answer.
A new answer for today, right? And the reason I chose them before, I love them. I love like strong black women who are like really in their divine feminine, but then some of their divine masculine energy comes out too. I feel like that's me. And I just wanted to hear about that, like especially in a time when like for sure that shit wasn't cool, but then it was, right? So anyway, but today, who would I pick? You kind of got me on this Marcus Garvey thing, right? Like I'm a natural.
I did think Marcus Garvey too.
I didn't think that, but now you're like, and I very much love Malcolm X. But you know who I would pick? I don't know why I didn't say this. I'll pick Uncle Spike. I always pick Spike Lee. Spike Lee has been.
That's a great answer.
When I tell you how much I love, like when I'm never starstruck by people, right? Because we all people, all the things. I've met people and all the things, right? But like Spike Lee was introduced to me when I was a baby, right? And that was and my mom was really intentional. Every Christmas she would buy us one black movie, and whatever else we had, when we gonna watch this movie together. So that's how I got introduced to all the Spike Lee stuff. Sure. But I felt seen, and I didn't know how to articulate that as a kid. But I felt so seen. Crooklyn was just one of those that it's like in me, like it runs through my veins. I felt like, right? And it's the way he tells his story, and it's the way that he's like very unorthodox, but he's just very rooted in it. And the way he speaks in poetry, it like absorbs, it's like osmosis into me, right? It's crazy. We just have this connection. I feel like if we're both tapped into our black consciousness, I could talk to him. That's how I feel sometimes, right?
You better pick a Morehouse man.
Right? So I feel like he just, and when I met him, y'all, I met him during the 25th anniversary when he was here for school days and it was at the Fox. I was stunned. Crazy. I could not even say words. Steven was like, tell him your favorite movie quote. I'm talking stunned. We took a picture and no words could come out.
Yeah,
it was like outer body.
When you think about Spike Lee, it's like, if it wasn't for Spike, think about how much of our culture would be missing.
What?
Would Denzel be Denzel?
No. Fuck. What Sam Jackson? No. Would what's his name that plays in all of them? He's the Spanish actor.
Yeah, Juan Carlos.
No, he would not be too, right? Like think of all of the like Man, and his grind and the way that he really believed in his art, and like even though it was so different, like he shot She's Gotta Have It, like damn, obviously it wasn't a cell phone, but with his damn and his sisters in it, and it's like
you know
he
what
just
when I think about, because we all from the same era, so like when I go to your point, when I go back to my childhood, 'cause I had the same experience. Like we finna watch these movies, and all this, and it's like, and I feel like y'all echo this. We knew then that these movies were classics.
yes,
Like immediately.
as soon as it comes on.
You feel me? And now 25, 30 years later, it's like, oh my God, this is me. Everything, the way you articulated everything about that was just so spot on.
Yeah, especially the
I can't even repeat it. Yeah, it's like,
And it's little things that are
Right.
only connected to
like,
us.
we
you
knew,
know?
right? We knew then.
For the culture.
Like
Right.
he's tapped in, his black consciousness is he's
Like
tapped
we knew
in.
these movies were classics, like instantly.
Yeah.
Like, and like, where would we be
From the
without-
opening credits,
without
from the
Spike
music,
Lee,
he's choosing.
40 Acres and a Mule.
Yes. From the name of his company.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right,
And it's funny that the other day that you brought up Mo Better Blues being the title. I had asked, you know, if you had to pick a movie title to represent like your business now where you are, like what would you pick? Omari picked Mo Better Blues. And it's so funny. You said you didn't see it, but it's so funny because in a way, have y'all seen Mo Better Blues?
long time.
He reminds me of Denzel's character so much. Like how developed it was. Like Denzel was super tapped into his artistry in that movie. That it was like there is very much like highs and lows, and it was almost like in the most beautiful way. He was tortured by his art that he just couldn't stop. And I always joke with Amari all the time, like you have no work-life balance, zero. You just be like 2 a.m. I get emails from it's just his mind is going, and it reminds me of that. And it's so funny that you've never seen it, and that's what you would say, because.
By the next time we film with somebody, I would have seen it.
Okay, and we can talk about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna make sure.
Right.
For sure.
Better.
Well, y'all, that's all we got. Thanks for joining us. This was really
dope.
great. This was really cool.
We need to make every month Black History Month.
Boy.
Hell yeah.
Boy, yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Hell yeah.
This was dope. Thank you for having us, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
you.
for holding space in that way. You got motherfuckers out here trying to take this away from like you could. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck you think you are? I appreciate this.
No worries. I appreciate y'all pulling up.
I'm Stones.